Thank you very much, and welcome everybody to the 8th Virtual Technology Conference. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about staying connecting and network in the clouds. Um, how technology is changing the way we do our daily business. Less than a decade ago, at the start of the 21st century, all new technology to come could only be dreamed of. But today we see it everywhere we turn. From how we talk to friends to where we find recipes and how we spend our days, new technology and social media has not only changed our everyday lives, but how we see the world. It has changed how people function in the age of the internet and Twitter. Not only are companies and organizations such as newspapers having to change the way they operate, people are changing as well. From reading a newspaper every morning to checking out the latest news on blogs, people are taking a more hands-on approach to the news in their lives. Now, as Twitter, Facebook, and blogs and podcasts have taken over our lives, only time will tell to help us stay more in touch or push us further away from each other. Only time will tell.
Dave,
So let's begin to look.
Dave,
And Huey, I don't.
can I interrupt for a second?
Yes.
If you would, where your microphone is, there's a drop down, and the bottom item there is adjust your microphone volume. Bring it down some more. Hopefully we didn't lose him.
Okay. How's that?
Go ahead and talk.
Okay. Is
Yeah,
this
I
too?
think that's going to be better.
Okay. Here we
And
go.
we'll see what the comments are. So go ahead.
Okay. Still very loud. Bad echo. Hopefully we're going. Uh, Someone online, Huey. I don't have my thing to push the change the slides at the bottom. I'm missing the bottom here.
Okay, that's because I didn't move you up. Sorry about that.
There we
And
go.
I think, okay, they say it's a little better now. Go ahead.
Okay, I will try not to talk quite as loud. Okay, a warning. It said, I am not an expert. This is just a collection of my opinions, ideas, and research. So just because I say it's true, it may not necessarily be. Talking about device networking, not just computers anymore. What is it? Why do we do it? And do we really care? Let's look at the definition of networking. A computer network is a telecommunications network that allows computers to exchange data. The physical connection between network computers devices established using either cable media or wireless media. The best known network is the internet. A network devices that originate, route, and terminate data are called network nodes. Network nodes can include hosts such as servers and personal computers, as well as all networking hardware. Two devices said to be networked in a process, and one device is able to exchange information with a process in another. So what we're going to be talking about today is how to exchange information between several different devices. If you remember, or maybe your connection at the back of your computer looks like this. This is the old way we used to network, plug things in, you'd have wires going everywhere. Okay, and if you look at this, these are my network computers at home. I have a laptop, I have another computer, I have a PC, and I have a home server, and then I've got a separate device here. So you can see the different folders and how my network folders lay out. In the old days, you would have to click on these and go to that computer and that folder and then fill down to be able to serve. And if you remember how you had to do this, you had to set it up. Setting up a network to make sure your folders had the right permissions. You remember this, that you have to go in and click OK, manually change, and you go over here and you can see the word share. where you had to share that folder so other computers can pick it up. Is there an easier way? Yes, this way the computers are all interconnected. So you had to connect between devices. You had to make sure you had everything shared, wired, this way. Now it's this. Now everything can be connected through the cloud. The cloud is just that omnipotent device up there that you can keep things connected through different servers. So now syncing is done on the fly. It's really organized. So what we want to do is talk about cloud-based networking. You can see a lot of these, and we'll be talking about more in detail a little bit later. We're not going to be going into detail today on how to operate any of these programs. I'm just going to talk about the programs and how you can use them, and we'll get back into hopefully another presentation on how to use Dropbox, Google Drive, Magic Cloud, this type of thing. But there are many different things out there that you can use. A lot of them think you can use these as storage devices. Yes, you can store stuff on the cloud, but they can also be used to sync stuff contemporaneously with each of your devices. So what we're going to do here is talking about the different cloud storages here. And this is a chart which you can be able to download at the end of the presentation, and the instructions will be there then. But this is what is coming on, and I just showed you that this is just free stuff, and it's not everything that's out there. But as you can see, just free off the top of your head is 196 gigabytes. These are all gigabytes. And I calculated that on my computer I have 351.63 gigabytes of free storage up on the cloud. And each of these I have this on my laptop, I have this on my other computer in the office, I have this on my main computer, and on my tablet and smartphone. So I can share files immediately. Once you put a file in there, it's synced, you don't have to worry about it, and it's very easy to get to. And it is a Dropbox I got at the top. It's probably one of the best known storage devices. You can see that they'll show up in the favorites column in your Explorer window. And some of them have different things, like Spider Oak, you see, has a hive. That's just their way of, you got a folder that you can, on your desktop, you can drop things in. You can store this and use these without even having to open a browser. Now, there are other uses. I mean, we could have a whole session just on Dropbox on how you can share files. Just as an example, I have a friend here that is really big into genealogy, and he has done an awful lot of research. And what he has done is he has created a Dropbox so he can share the information between his computers, but also share the information between the computers of his relatives. So anytime he changes or finds information about one side of the family, it's connected to his Dropbox folder, and he just sends out an email that it's been updated. And because they have Dropbox and he has initially shared it with them to begin with, that they have it in their Dropbox folder in their computer, and they can go and get the information. And all these different drives, you've heard about SkyDrive. Well, that's probably getting a new name from Microsoft, but it still works the same. Your Office product and everything, you can just share stuff now with the new Windows 8, and that Francis will be talking a little bit later about, is that you can have information. So either computer you go to, the information will be there. And this list is going to be available to download, so you can check these things out. Now the Zools is something that Jim Evans turned me on to, and I think Huey has the same thing. This is mainly the backup folders. You got 100 gigabytes to back up. Picasa gives you just an extra drive on your hard drive to put files in, and it automatically shares. MediaFile is a program that you just right-click on the file, and you can send it up to that device. So it's real easy to share. Okay, and as you can see, this is a little smaller than I anticipated, but this is just a screenshot of the favorites folder on my Windows Explorer, and you can see how these devices line up. You can see the recent places, the downloads, but you got Dropbox, Google Drive, Magic Briefcase, My Box File, SkyDrive, Spider Oak, Magic Cloud Copy, Wallow Cloud Drive, that's the Amazon, Spider Oak Hive, which is different from Spider Oak, Tresses, which is another one I have, and the Bitcasa Infinite. So what you just do is, we'll go back over here and just use the Dropbox to show. You just click on this like you would a file folder, and then the subfolders show up. And these are all the files in my Dropbox folder. So they, you could just act like a regular folder. And I don't know if you can see, there's right under that, you can see an APCUG folder that's highlighted a little different colors. That's a shared folder, and that's how the directors of APCUG share files. It's just in our Dropbox folders. We don't have to go anywhere. We need a file. We just click on this folder, and it's right there on our computer. I share my camera downloads. Huey has shared a couple files. The CES Daily is in there, and he's got a file folder. He said you go down at the bottom, it says Stuff with Dave Williams. So when we share files, we just put stuff in there and say, hey, it's on the Dropbox folder, and you go in there and you can click on it and you get a file and you work on it. You work on it and it automatically stays and then syncs. So it stays coordinated all the time, and you don't have to worry about syncing it between two computers. If you got, if you networked in the olden days, you had a file on this computer and you moved it over there, and you had it on both computers, so you wouldn't work on that one, it wouldn't be synced, and you had to make sure everything is synced. These stay perfectly synced, so it's very easy to get devices and share file folders. With the Dropbox, these different folders, you can share through your tablet, iPad, so you can look things up. Huey was talking about that he, used the Apple or some other product, and you put a folder or a file, and you put it in your Dropbox folder so you know where it is. And then if you happen to be traveling and you got some downtime, you can look at it. And the same thing on your phone. People have stored passwords, favorite files, phone numbers, all sorts of things. So no matter where you are, it is synced. You write yourself a note on your phone, you store it in your Dropbox or other folder. Then when you get back home, you can share the link. So this is the way so you can stay connected and also network your different files together so you can have the same information on each computer with just using a file folder, and the information is staying the same. And you don't have to go about the setup. And it also, all these folders are backed up for you on the web. And, you're saying, well, what if the web goes down? Well, you also have a hard copy of the file on your computer and on the other computers. On your smartphone and tablets, they do stay in the cloud, and you have to download them from there. But on a computer, they do sync directly to the computer. Advantages to cloud network is you can see, you can have the tablet, the PC, the notebook, the netbook, the mobile, mini, remote server, these things will be able to connect, and you can get it. Even if you only got, one or two computers, this makes it real way of storing it, and it's an easy way to back up. And then if you back up your computer, then you'd have to open it up and maybe go and get a file, but these things stay automatically backed up. So it's a little bit easier way of doing things. Again, with Windows, as you know, there probably 5 or 6 or 100 different ways to do the same thing. Some of them are a little bit easier than others, but it all get the job done. Okay, the other ways to stay connected. Does anybody have any questions about these things that they want to ask before we move on?
I don't see any in the chat box yet. I'll let you know if I see anything.
Okay. It's just that I'm talking and it's going a lot faster than I expected. The other ways to stay connected between those folders. And, you can stay connected in social communication. Everybody has heard of Skype, of being able to chat individually with each other, and they got Skype messaging. So there are many, many, many different ways you can stay connected. It's great, to be able to, if you got grandkids or sisters or brothers, being able to talk to them. I said, I've got people that will Skype me or do this rather than pick me up on the phone, because usually 9 times out of 10, I'm sitting in front of a computer. And again, remember I talk about the more than ways of doing things. There is a product called Zoom Us, which allows you to have high definition video conferences or phone conferences. Skype you have to pay for to get the more video conferences, more than one-on-one. Zoom, I think you can chat now. I'm not sure. It used to be chat for about half an hour or so and have quite a few people in the room. And it's free going one-on-one. You just have a URL. You just go into Zoom and say, I want to have a conference, and you shoot somebody an email, and they'll connect onto it and right up, and you can have a quick conference. You can share your screen. It's a Skype competitor, but it is very good, and I found the connection to be a lot better. And this is what the APCUG uses because it's reliable and you get a whole lot better connection. And you can see what's going on, and you can tile your screens and some other things. Okay, Uvu is another method of chatting. It sort of takes the old instant messaging program and takes it to the level of video. And here, so you can video chat with different individuals. And the same thing, just to be example, there are a whole lot of out there, but Uvu and Tango is free. And another Tango is another way of socially keeping aware of people, finding out who's next to each other, and still having a conference so that people can, you can chat with different people. So that's the way of staying connected with others. And the video, as you probably tell, is sort of taking the way of instant messaging. Still a lot of instant messaging going on, but now a lot of the young people want to be able to video see. And as you see with the Skype and Twitter, these Vines and Instagram and sharing pictures and sharing movies, people really into visuals. Another way of staying connected is web clipping tools. You're on the internet and you're viewing something, and Appian is a product that you can use also that will let you connect. Evernote is one of the better known products out there, and I'm hoping or trying to convince Huey to be able to give a presentation, because this is a very useful product to use. You can clip notes from a whole lot of different places. You could organize, you can share information, and you can search it. And you see something, you see an article, see a recipe, and you can share different information. Yeah, Roger. Okay, I was going to come back. You can have 10 people on an audio for free, but the video will charge you more if you go one-on-one. So, but that's so you can connect. Another one is Microsoft's OneNote. It's a paid product, but on Windows 8 it comes free and you use your SkyDrive. So again, you can share different multiple screens and information. OneNote is a lot of comes and a lot of college kids use it to take notes during class. It has it's similar to Evernote, but many different things you can do in each one. And OneNote is another product that if you ever get a chance to listen to a presentation, Kathy Jacobs, one of the former APCUG directors and presidents, is a Microsoft MVP on this, and she knows OneNote up one side, down the other. And it's another product if you have an opportunity to use. You can clip, you can make presentations, and it's an easy way of taking notes and keeping things coordinated and sharing stuff. It's sort of like a file book, like when you were in school and you had these, spiral around notebooks. You can insert pages and take notes and clip and do all sorts of stuff. Pocket used to be called Read It Now. Is now a product that if you happen to be reading a page and a website and you want to read it later, it's nothing really, you don't know if you want to save it or not, so you can clip it and share, and you save it to Pocket. So then you go back to your Pocket account and you're able to reread the article and then check and see if you want to save or what you want to clip. This is a great way if you're skimming a lot of articles or RSS feeds, quickly, and you're not really sure. Well, I want to, this is something I want to check out later. You can just quickly save it, and it'll allow you the ability to go back and read it at a later time when you have more time. And again, these devices are you share the Evernote, the OneNote, and the Pocket between many different devices. So a lot of people have, they got smartphones. Maybe they don't have a smartphone, but they got an iPad or a tablet along with a computer, and you can share the stuff on one. So if you're on the iPad and it's a small screen, and you want to read it more detailed, you can clip it, save it to Pocket, or put it in Evernote. Then when you get back home on a bigger screen, you can look and be able to look at it then and go into more details and follow what's going on. Another one is SpringPad. Is very similar to Evernote. It does a little bit of stuff different, but you can save information there. And last but not least, there's Clipboard. As I said, it allows you to clip articles. And again, each one of these programs have their advantages and disadvantages, and we could spending a lot of time talking about it, but I will tell you that I use Evernote, Microsoft OneNote, and Pocket a great deal to be able to save notes and different things. I have my book reading list on a lot of them, and again, you can bring it up on different devices. So I can remember what books I've read, or I've got audio books, and I've got the list of what I've got, so I know which order I want to read them in. Now, there are other ways out there to get information, and everybody probably heard that about RSS readers, really simple syndication readers, which is basically a way of, when we get down to the bottom, we'll be talking about push versus pull. But what it is, there are an awful lot of websites out there that update on a fairly regular basis. And, you may not want to go to the website all the time, because sometimes they update, sometimes they not. And most websites that are worth anything will have a RSS feed, which will send it to you. You can connect through Outlook. Feedly is now a popular one, and everybody knows and remembers Google Reader, but they've stopped that and they're moving everything over to Google Plus. And I was just reading an article that since Google Reader stopped, that there are a lot of business now for RSS readers that do different things and specialize. And again, that is, what you got to do is, talk to some people that Feedly is very good, but won't do some of the things they like it to do, sorting and reading it. But again, Feedly you can run on several different devices. And the good thing about Feedly is that if you read it on one device, you go back on the other, it's already marked as read, so you don't have to, reread it. But, some of these devices allow you to sort and, go by brand or go by date. And there are an awful lot of devices just specific to devices. And there's one that I recommend called Scope Beta, which puts your RSS feeds, some of them, your Twitter, your Facebook, and other feeds all in one spot in timeline order. And you can read it all in one spot without having to go to several different places. And a lot of different devices do that. Hootsuite and some others, or Twitter readers, you can put your feed and read them all at the same time.
Dave?
Yes?
I use Feedly, and I used Google Plus prior to that. The thing about an RSS feeder like Feedly is it allows you. I'm using like I think 128 different sources, and it monitors them, and it's just fantastic. I can look at it on my iPad, my iPhone, my Android tablet, or on my desktop. And as I read through them and mark them as read, when I go back to it on one of the other devices, it's already marked as read, and so it doesn't show up again. And Feedly seems to be working very well, and I'm very pleased with it.
Okay, got a question. Doesn't Feedly have the ability to just look at it and you get sort of a synopsis, so you want to know if you can open it or not? Doesn't it say a little bit about what it is?
You have the choice of which way you want to look at it. It can be a synopsis, it can be just a headline, and it can also be show you if there's a graphic, it'll show you a thumbnail of the graphic and a sentence or two.
Okay.
So it's quite well done. The only issue I have with Feedly is it doesn't play well with Evernote yet. My understanding is they're working on it, but in order for me to save it, I've got to go through a few little loops in order to have the article saved in Evernote, where with Google Reader it was just a matter of blocking it and saving it, and it was done. So I'll let you get back. Let's see if there's. Oh, one other thing too. You were talking about Skype earlier. Skype one-to-one is free video, but if you want to have more than one person has to have the premium account, and then they can have. I've seen as many as 12 or 13 people on a call, but it gets kind of. It may not work as well. As soon as you get close to 10, you may have some of the people may have some issues, or there may be more than one issue. But even one-to-one, sometimes you have issues with Skype.
Yeah, and that's the reason I would recommend Zoom, because we haven't had anywhere near the issues on Zoom. On the connections and the video feed seem to be very good.
Okay.
And one of the reasons, like Feedly or some of these other different things, these devices and other programs allows you to have these feeds, and you see a synopsis, so you know if you want to read it or not. It's like what Twitter is 140 characters, and if you're reading it, for businesses, they'll usually say something and then they'll give you a link. And the object of the feed is even Facebook. They always use, when they're selling something, they usually have a link, and they want to tease you with a bit to be able to go get you to read the articles. And a lot of these will bring it down into the device, but a lot of them will take you to the websites, and you get the whole article, but then you get the ads they want to do.
Yeah, I find Feedly saves me hours and hours every day
Yeah.
to get through the news and keep up to date on what's going on.
Yeah. So Flipboard is another interesting one. It's a magazine style curator, and it brings stuff down. Um, the one thing about Flipboard, it doesn't allow you to create the pages, without some effort, but you can have different magazines and different companies create the information, and you go through and you can read what's happening on that. Again, it's just like reading a magazine or a newspaper, that you can just go and click on the article and read more. They're just a magazine style of interesting thing. Paperly, if you didn't know, APCUG has a curated Paperly. It's not something that we put together. It's based on our Twitter followers of people that have or should have interest, computer tech, that type of thing, and their tweets are curated on a daily basis, and I'm not sure how they actually pick them, but usually if it's got pictures or got URLs on it, it'll bring it up and put it in a newspaper style that you can read. One of the papers that I read on a regular basis is Huey's, that is based on, I think, information that he puts together. And so it's an easy way. Again, it's like a regular news. It's different from a regular newspaper. It's got just sort of a blurb about what's going on. And if you like it, you can click on it and go back to the original article. But again, you can catch up what's going on, and I've got them set up for me on Android and tech and social media. I mean, if you're into recipes and making apple pie, you can have a sort set up that you can read all Twitter feeds on apple pie, and it would send you on a daily basis all the articles everybody's talking about apple pie. So it's a very good way of staying connected, and you don't really have to have a Twitter feed. You just have to have a Paperly account, and you can pick up anybody else's what they're talking about. And a lot of businesses, a lot of people use it. It's a good way of staying on top, because you'll see the things from the RSS feeds on in the feed will pick up what they put it on Twitter, Facebook. It's all consistent. So you may see the article 2 or 3 times, but you can see when an article comes out that different people or different group, TechCrunch, Read White Web, Geocom, all those others, will have to talk about the same thing, but you can get the different spin on what's going on, and it's an easy way of staying connected with information on the web. And you can put in some RSS feeds, or you can go out there and connect and read what other people put together. So it's an interesting reading. It comes right into your email. You pick it up, it goes right into your browser, and you can read what's going on and just browse through it. And again, everybody is familiar with Yahoo, MSN, AOL. Their home pages, they curate, the latest news of what's going on. And that's the way I know a lot of people have, one of these pages as their home site. But it's a good way of staying connected of what's going on. They pick what you want to see, but on the Paperly and Feedly, you pick what you want to read. But you can find out what's going on and, stuff you wouldn't think about. Where we go here? Okay. Push versus pull. I mean, the definition is push is where people send it to you. That's the Yahoo, MSN, AOL. They put the information up that, they think you want to see, or what interesting articles are coming out. And pull is when you pull it down and you're getting the information that you want, and it gives you the ability to read it when you want to do it. The news is just like TV, that a lot of people are using Netflix, Hulu to watch TV shows. because it said, they may not have the time to do it when it's on, but they want to watch it when they want to watch it, when they've got time to watch it. So that's the way you get the information when you want it. You get the information what you want, and you don't have to go through a whole lot of other stuff to be able to get it. So you pull it down to you, and you pick what you want to watch. Um, and the other thing, the last thing I want to talk about, this is a picture of X gadgets. X widgets. It's called X widget. But there's several different devices and several different things that you can put onto your phone, your devices, that you have the information you pulling down onto your computer. As you know, on your phone, you have different widgets and you can read your email or sports scores. But you have the ability to do that same thing on your computer, several different programs. They used to have widgets in, I think 7 had them for a while, they left them, but 8 doesn't have them. But these programs, and one of the things that's always very handy, everybody always has on their front page, is the weather. So I have a little widget on my laptop and on my home computer that tells me the weather, and it's got the little weather forecast that I can tell at a glance what's going on. So I am staying connected by these devices, and I'm getting the information I want when I want it. And that's the joy of being able to use computers. You don't have to be a social media, you don't even have to. Facebook's nice to read to stay connected, but we'd even mentioned Facebook, I know, too many times a day. But you can stay connected just on sharing your programs, sharing your files with others, sharing files with different computers. Go and get the information off the web. You want to get it when you want to read it. You don't have to remember to go to that. As I said, sometimes, you need to go to the obituaries or the sports, but you can have the sports come to you. And it's going to be up to date. The paper prints the sports scores when they get around to printing the paper. So you're not going to have the late games if you get the paper in the morning. But if you go to get a website or have an app that will allow you to do it and you get the scores, then you want to see a quick play or a good, you can click on it and you can go from there. So there's ways you get information when you want it and how you want it.
Dave?
Someone
Dave?
say something? Yes.
Yeah. On the widgets, uh, that works on Windows, you said, I believe, right?
Yes. It's
Uh,
called X widget.
okay. Is it on any version of Windows, or is it certain versions, or is it just
I
Windows 8?
haven't, to tell you the truth, I have not tried it on XP, but I do know that X widget works on Windows 7 and Windows 8. I didn't have 8.1 running long enough before my computer crashed to be able to test. I think it worked a little bit.
Okay.
Now, it's
The
a you get the same information on the Metro screen on Windows 8, but this way I have it on the desktop.
Now in earlier versions of Windows, they had different. They called them gadgets,
Yes.
and there were some security issues with them, and they actually stopped making them available and said don't use them. Is there security issues with this that we need to be concerned with?
I have not heard any, but again, every type of program has the ability. Um, but again, the widgets that I'm using are not so much getting a whole lot of information. I don't get a whole lot of news feeds on it. I get a lot of information more than the weather on here. It's these used to be able to tell. I can tell what the information from my computer, what the network's doing, and that type of thing. So I'm not really going out to a third party to get it. I'm careful about what I download, but I haven't heard anything about these. But I'm assuming that if they're probably not widely used as the word the gadgets, so people are probably not exploiting them. There are other ways to exploit it. So
Yeah, I need some more things to clutter up my desktop. So
Yeah. Well,
I hadn't heard of X
I
widgets.
just have them going down the one side. That's the only thing that I have, and I've got a weather app. I got a weather app. I got a clock. I've got the CPU, so I can tell the cores what they're using, how much RAM I'm using, and what my battery life is, and then up and down on the network, so I can tell how busy my network is. And that's about all that I got. I do have on my laptop. I do have a battery, so I can see where my battery is. You know, you can look down at the bottom, but this is at a glance. It's got a cup, coffee cup, so I can see at a glance where my battery is.
Okay, couple of comments from the chat box. Roger V says you can do a Google Hangout with video for all. He doesn't know if there's a number limit, but I think that too I think it's around 10
Yeah.
is the limit.
Yeah.
And Francis said, according to xwidget.com, version 1.84 requirements are Windows XP, Vista, Windows 7, or Windows 8.
Thank you, Francis.
And that's all we have so far from the chat box.
Yes. So, I mean, it's one you get it. You have to download. Now, again, one thing about XWidgets, when you're downloading it, it's ad supported. So you have to be very carefully that when you're going down the bottom, the download is probably at about 5-point type. You know, all those other things download in big type, so you get ads. So you got to be careful what you're downloading. But again, it's just like when you're installing all this stuff. Even I downloaded a couple things from CNET this morning up on this computer, and you had to read very carefully because it wanted to change my browser and all sorts of stuff. So you got to be very careful. Okay, going back to here, I'll just let everybody quickly talk about being too connected. So, and then that should give everybody enough time. Everybody's seen my presentation. I've been using this quite a bit, but I'm a big Zits fan. Okay, now's the time for questions, and Huey's put up where did my questions go? Oh, there it is. Okay, it goes and comes. I don't know. Okay, the question, it says questions across the top, but it flies in. So I hope, I helped. I tried to keep it a little short. Again, the one thing I will strongly recommend is that if you ever, I don't know if Huey's Evernote presentation is on the website, but if you ever get a chance, and I'm hoping Huey's going to do it at the virtual conference and maybe even at the conference in Ohio, is his Evernote presentation. Because I'll listen to it once, but every time, and he's discovered new things. It's just an excellent program, and to listen to him and to learn how to use. OneNote's very powerful, and I know that I only use part of it. It's just like the Word and Excel. I wish they made a light program that I could fiddle around and not having to go through all these different things. Do it, because these things are very powerful, and you can get lost in the power on some of these big programs. But if you click on this, what you have to do is you have to click on the file name, and then the download files is going to pop up, and you can download it. The information is, if you take any of those names and Google search it, it should come right up, and you can read it. You have to sign up for all of them. You can download it for free, but you can't use them until you sign up. But you get the storage and share it with your friends. If you don't have Dropbox, you can share it with different friends, or if you want to get extra storage, email me or Huey, and we'll send you a link, and you can get 250 extra megabytes. But any other questions? I think we get to listen to music, and I would recommend that you hang on and watch Francis's 8.1 presentation. I am, because I'm curious, because I tried to load it and I blew it. I mean, it was my fault because I tried to change some stuff. Um, but I think you're going to learn. 8.1, I think, is better than 8 from what I've seen. I think Francis is going to tell you all about it and all the great things you can do. And I'm going to, if there's no more questions, I'm going to sign off, and then we'll get everybody in here to talk to Francis, and then hang around for Huey's presentation on the new website. That is a fantastic website, and I think it's going to be beneficial for all club members and people interested in APCUG and user groups to be able to communicate and share information. If not, you have my email address. Feel free to email me, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.